A very good morning, children. So, it's the first day of a month, and we are here with a new chapter with the name Data Handling. Now, this class is going to be an introductory class of the very chapter, but although it is an introductory class, there are a lot many things that will be coming up on your way, and I hope all of you will be watching this video very attentively. So, without any further delay, let's see what we have here. First topic that we are going to discuss is collection of data. But before getting more into the topic, let's first understand what do we actually mean by the term data. Data refers to any information of an area of interest to an individual or say a group or a team, and it can be an information related to anything. So the place or the object or the individual from where we are able to collect the information or data can be termed as the source of data. Therefore, collection of data is a process of gathering information, facts from different sources to visualize a comprehensive picture of an area of interest. Now, why collection of data is done? So that we can have an overall picture or say a detailed picture of the area we want to work upon or say our area of interest. For example, suppose we want to know the highest or say the tallest height a person can have in a class, right? As well as the shortest height. So what we have to do? We have to go to the students of that particular class and we have to collect the information regarding their height. And after that, we have to analyze them or we have to go through them in a very detailed manner. After that is done, that particular data can give us a clear picture of the greatest height in that particular class as well as the shortest height. So this is an example of a detailed or comprehensive picture of the area of interest, that is finding the height. Now there are various other examples where we are collecting our data. For example, annual performance of students in a class, where the data right from the beginning of the session to the end of a session is collected for each and every student and therefore analyzed, and hence the final progress report is presented to the particular student. Then another example we have is the female literacy rate of India. Now in order to find the female literacy rate of India, that to state-wise, we need to collect information regarding the literacy rate of all the individuals, almost all the individuals, particularly the females, right? So these are two various examples. There are a lot many more examples. And also remember one thing, the chapter that we are dealing with now is of utmost importance, not for this class but for your whole life, you can say. And I know that you have got this particular chapter in your previous class as well, but as we move further with this particular chapter, we are going to know the more systematic way of collecting data. Next, we have organizing data. Now, mere collecting data is not enough. We need to organize the data as well, or say we have to put the collected data in a systematic order. Suppose there is a library. Now we know that library is a house of books, right? There, a small to small library used to have thousands of books. Now all these books are collected from markets or say from various sources. Sometimes they are donated as well, right? But imagine you're going into a library where there are a lot of books, no doubt, but they have not been placed systematically, or say they are not organized as per their particular shelves. So do you think will it be possible for you to find out a particular book of your interest? Well, that's very, very impossible, right? Therefore, mere collecting of books is not enough, just like collecting of data is not enough. We need to organize our data, right? Now, will be showing you two examples here. As you can see, there is a table where the roll numbers of 10 students along with the names and their mark in a particular subject has been given out of 50. Now, this table is giving us information regarding the marks scored by each of the students, right from roll number 1 up to 10. So, if we observe this particular table very carefully, then the only information that we are getting from this table is the individual marks of these students arranged roll number wise, right? Can you tell me any other information other than this? Well, there can be lot more information, but we need to get deeper into this table, right? For example, if we want to know the highest marks scored out of these 10 students, then we have to go for looking each of these marks individually, and then we have to find out. And in this manner, we found out that 46 is the highest marks scored so far, while the lowest marks scored is your 13, right? As you can see here. But this particular observation is also taking time. Yes? So what if we rearrange this table in a different way? Now, okay, the same table has been given here, but it has been arranged differently. So as you can see here, the roll numbers are not arranged systematically, while the marks have been arranged systematically. Now, this table tells us that the highest scored or the highest marks scored is by roll number 3, and the marks is your 48, while the lowest marks scored is your 13, and it is scored by a girl named Manisha with roll number, sorry, it's not Manisha, it's J, right? So this table gives us more than one information of our interest, right? So it can be easily said that this table is lot more organized and precise. Yes, I hope you're able to understand this. We have representative values, and to understand this, let's take an example of a situation from our real life. So suppose there is a girl named Rita, and you are assigned a task of gathering information regarding her time she spent on her studies on daily basis. So accordingly, you have collected all the information required and you have organized the data as well, and then you have to conclude it. So you can conclude it either by writing them down pointwise, or say you can give one statement. Now I'm going to show you two ways of how to conclude the statement. The first one is Rita studied for 4.5 hours on Monday. Rita studied for 5 hours on Tuesday. Rita studied for 3.5 hours on Wednesday. Rita studied for 4 hours on Thursday. So in this way, you are going to give all the information that you have collected for as number of days as you have, and you are going to write them down in a statement wise. Or there is another way out where you are going to say Rita studies for an average of 4 hours on daily basis. Now tell me, Which one you think will be preferable? Well, as per my assumptions, I believe that everyone will go with the second method or second way, because if we are collecting all the information, we have organized them, then we need to conclude it, right? And the first way of writing the number of hours she spent for every day is not something called conclusion. Yes, conclusion should be in one statement, short and very, very precise. Yes, so we will go with the second method. Now I have written this statement here, so we are going to conclude it as Rita spends an average of 4 hours daily for her studies. Similarly, there are certain more examples, such as the average temperature of this place at this time of a year is 40 degrees Celsius. So what is done here? The temperature of a particular place for a particular time of the year has been collected for, say, quite a number of days, and then the data has been organized, and after that a concluding statement has been made like this one. Okay, now in both of these two statements, the thing that is common is the word average here, right? An average is something that gives us the overall idea of the range of the data we are collecting of our particular field of interest. Yes, for example, for the first case, we came to know that on a daily basis she spends almost nearer to 4 hours daily for her studies, right? And also in regard to the second case, the daily temperature of that particular place goes below or beneath 40 degrees Celsius. It keeps on fluctuating nearer to 40 degrees Celsius. So average gives us the whole picture of the area we are working on. Therefore, an average can be regarded as a measure of central tendency of a group of observations of data. So whatever we have observed here, or whatever information we have collected, can be called as observations of data, and it's given that average is a measure of central tendency. And why the word central tendency have been mentioned? Because average always lies between the highest and the lowest value of a given data, or say of the data collected. For example, if I go back to our first case, suppose the highest time, or say the highest number of hours spent by Rita on her studies in one day is, say, 4.5 hours. That is the highest, while the lowest is, say, your 3.5 or 3.3 hours and 45 minutes as such. So at that point of time, the average time, which is your 4 hours daily, lies between both the highest as well as the lowest data. And when we say the word average, we always mean that it is not the accurate value, but it is almost closer to the accurate value of the data collected. Also, average represents a group of data, so it helps us in picturizing the whole group of data in a very small form, say with the help of a very small number, which is considered as the average. And hence average can be termed as one of the representative values. So I hope representative values are clear to you. You can consider average to be an example of the representative values. Now, the another term for the word average is your arithmetic mean. Now, mathematically, arithmetic mean is equal to sum of all observations divided by number of observations. And by the word observation, I mean the data that we have collected from our requisite source. For example, okay, so as you can see, there is a question here. But before going to the question, I would like to tell you a few more things. So let's tell the question to wait for a while, right? Now, observations can be of any form. For example, suppose you have collected the marks scored by your friends and yourself in maths. So suppose you have collected for 5 of your friends, say 5, 10, and then somebody scoring 20 and so on, and there will be the maximum is suppose 25, and the maximum number of marks in that particular test was also 25. So this data that you have collected can be termed as the observation. Each one of them are termed as observations, right? Now back to the mean. So mean can be calculated by dividing the sum of our observations with the total number of observations we have collected. Now let's understand this more with the help of an example. As you can see, a question is there. A batsman scored the following number of runs in 6 innings, and the runs have been given here. And we are to calculate the mean runs scored by him in an innings. So let's proceed with this question now. It's given the run in 6 innings are this and this, and then we know that mean is equal to sum of observations divided by the number of observations. Therefore, let us first find out the sum of our observations, and the sum is equal to your 282. You can try this on your own, and as it has been given, these are the runs of the 6 innings. Well, even if it is not given, it is not very hard for us to count the number of runs given to us, right? I mean the number of innings. They are all total 6. Yes. So what we have to do, we have to divide our sum 282 by the number of observation, which is 6 here. Therefore, the mean we are going to get is your 47, and hence his mean runs are 47. So this is how you are supposed to calculate your mean whenever asked in any type of a question. And you might get questions where your mean will be given to you and you will have to find out any of these two. I hope you will be able to do this. It's not very hard. So we'll talk about these type of questions later on. It's just for your general knowledge that you have to deal with these type of questions as well. Now before going to the next topic, let us recall that an average is a value that is present right in the center of a group of data collected. So, and in both the ends of our average, we have the highest value on one side of the data, or say the highest observation of the data collected, as well as the lowest observation of the collected data. Now, this particular sequence of observations that are collected and arranged from the highest to lowest or vice versa has a particular name, and that name is your range. Therefore, range can be defined as the difference between the highest observation and the lowest observation of a given data. And if we have to represent it mathematically, then range, which I am referring as R here, equal highest observation minus lowest observation. Now the reason why I am writing this in short form is because of the lack of space. That doesn't mean that even you are going to write in the same order. Why? Because maybe this is the first time that you are coming across something called range. Therefore, you need to write the mathematical definition in its whole full form. Okay, highest observation minus lowest observation. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. For example, as you can see, there are a group of data or observations collected, and as you can see, the highest observation here is your 38, whereas the lowest one is your 12. And if we have to find out the range of this particular group of data, then it is going to be 38 minus 12, which is equal to your 26, right? So this is how we are going to we are going to find out the range. Next, based on what we have learned so far in our third chapter, few questions are given here and which are taken from exercise 3.1, and I believe all of you will be able to solve these 4 questions. They are completely based on what we have discussed, so they are not very hard, and try to solve them. In case you find any difficulty in understanding the topic that I have explained, or say in doing any of these sums, then you can always contact me, right? And yes, if you have any doubt, you can ask even after completely watching this whole video. So I believe all of you are going to watch it attentively. It is quite a long video, but it is very, very important. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today. Thank you, children.